Structural and functional organization of the human body. The body can be studied at 6 levels of organization: the chemical, cell, tissue, organ system, and whole organism levels. Figure 1.1. Chemical level. The chemical level involves interactions between atoms, which are tiny building blocks of matter. Atoms combine to form molecules such as water, sugar, fats, and proteins. The function of a molecule is intimately related to its structure. For example, collagen molecules are rope-like protein fibers that give skin structural strength and flexibility. With old age, the structure of collagen changes and the skin becomes fragile and more easily torn. We present a brief overview of chemistry in Chapter 2. Cell level. Cells are the basic structural and functional units of plants and animals. Molecules combine to form organelles, like organs, which are small structures that make up cells. For example, the nucleus is an organelle that contains the cell's hereditary information, and mitochondria are organelles that manufacture adenosine triphosphate, ATP, a molecule cells use for energy. Although cell types differ in their structure and functions, they have many characteristics in common. Knowledge of these characteristics, as well as their variations, is essential to understanding anatomy and physiology. We discuss the cell in Chapter 3. Tissue level. A tissue is composed of a group of similar cells and the materials surrounding them. The characteristics of the cell surrounding materials determine the function of the tissue. Numerous tissues that make up the body are classified into 4 basic types: epithelial, connective, muscle, and nervous. We discuss tissues in Chapter 4. Organ level. An organ is composed of 2 or more tissue types that perform one or more common functions. The urinary bladder, heart, stomach, and lung are examples of organs. Figure 1.2. The organ system level. An organ system is a group of organs that together perform a common function or set of functions and are therefore viewed as a unit. For example, the urinary system consists of the kidneys, ureter, urinary bladder, and urethra. The kidneys produce urine, which are the uterus transport to the urinary bladder, where it is stored until being eliminated from the body through the urethra. In this text, we will consider 11 major organ systems and integumentary, skeletal, muscle, nervous, endocrine, cardiovascular, lymphatic, respiratory, digestive, urinary, and reproductive systems. Figure 1.3 presents a brief summary of these organ systems and their functions. Organism level. An organism is any living thing considered as a whole, whether composed of one cell, such as the bacterium, or the trillions of cells, such as a human. The human organism is a complex of organ systems, all mutually dependent on the other. One, 3. Characteristics of life. Humans are organisms sharing characteristics with other organisms. The most important common feature of all organisms is life. This text recognizes 6 essential characteristics of life. Organization refers to specific interrelationships among the parts of an organism and how those parts interact to perform specific functions. Living things are highly organized. Excuse me. All organisms are composed of one or more cells. Cells, in turn, are composed of highly specialized organelles, which depend on the precise organization of large molecules. Disruption of this organized state can result in loss of functions or even death. Metabolism refers to all the chemical reactions taking place in an organism. It includes organism's ability to break down food molecules, which the organism uses for its source of energy, and raw materials to synthesize its own molecules. Energy is also used when one part of the molecule moves relative to another part, changing the shape of the molecule. Changes in the molecular shape can lead to changes in cellular shape, which can produce movement in the organism. Metabolism is necessary for the vital functions such as responsiveness, growth, development, and reproduction. Responsiveness is an organism's ability to sense changes in its external environment or internal environment and adjust to those changes. Responses include such actions as moving towards food or water, or moving away from danger or poor environmental conditions. Organisms can also make adjustments that maintain their internal environment. For example, The external environment causes the body temperature to rise, and sweat glands produce sweat, which can lower body temperature back to its normal range. Growth. Growth refers to an increase in the size or number of cells, which produces an overall enlargement of all or a part of an organism. For example, the muscle enlarges by exercise is composed of larger muscle cells and those of an untrained individual muscle, and the skin of an adult has more cells than the skin of an infant. An increase in the materials surrounding the cells can also contribute to growth. For instance, bone grows because of an increase in cell number and the deposition of mineralized materials around the cells. Development includes the changes an organism undergoes through time, beginning with fertilization and ending in death. The greatest developmental changes occur before birth, but many changes continue after birth, and some go on throughout our life. Development usually involves growth, but it also involves differentiation and morphogenesis. Differentiation in changes in cell structure and function from generalized to specialized, or morphogenesis is change in the shape of tissues, organs, or entire organ systems. For example, following fertilization, generalized cells specialize to become specific cell types such as skin, bone, muscle, nerve cells. These differentiated cells form the tissue and organs. Reproduction is the function of new cells or new organisms. Without reproduction or cells, growth and development are not possible. Without reproduction of organisms, species become extinct. 1.4. Biomedical research. Studying other organisms has increased our knowledge about humans because humans share many characteristics with other organisms. For example, studying single-cell bacteria provides much information about human cells. However, some biomedical research cannot be accomplished using single-cell organisms or isolated cells. Sometimes other animals must be studied, as evidenced by the greatest progress in open heart surgery and kidney transplantation made possible by perfecting surgical techniques on other mammals before attempting them on humans. Strict laws govern the use of animals in biomedical research. These laws are designed to ensure minimal suffering on the part of the animal and to discourage unnecessary experimentation. Although much can be learned from studying other organisms, the ultimate answer to questions about humans can be obtained only from humans because other organisms differ from humans in significant ways. A failure to appreciate the differences between humans and other animals led to many misconceptions by early scientists. One of the first greatest anatomists was Greek physician Claudius Galen, ca. 130 to 201. Galen described a large number of anatomical structures supposedly present in humans, but observed only in other animals. For example, he described the liver as having 5 lobes. This is true for rats, but not for humans, who have 4-lobed livers. The error introduced by Galen persisted for more than 1,300 years until the Flemish anatomist Andreas Vesalius, 1514 to 1564, who was considered the first modern anatomist, carefully examined human cadavers and began to correct the textbooks. This example should serve as word of caution. Some current knowledge in molecular biology and physiology cannot be confirmed in humans. Homeostasis.